Union High School Fire Territory Board together. And we'll start off with the budget. You wanna present the budget, Andy?
In the back of the packet you'll see there, you should have a copy of the budget. We made a couple changes here and there. Vehicle fuel, we went up 10 grand. I think.
Very last page.
Yeah, it should be the very.
Dry, hands dry much?
There you go.
We went up in staffing in the pay. We're looking at giving a little bit of an increase to the paid staff. Like I said, we went up in fuel to cover the fuel supply, and the big one was then also Infotech. Those are I think the three big ones that are doing the biggest increases in. But in the Infotech is mainly just to cover the recording software that we have now.
It's on the back page.
Okay. I see all these is over the. Spent 6,000 so far, 25, and we got budgeted 2,000. That can be enough.
So what we had discussed was with the budget, we are going to put the utilities all onto the township. Since it's township building, and just let the utilities be paid out of. So the $2,000 that he has appropriated into the utilities is for the fire hydrant, for the water when they do refills on the truck.
Okay, so the township will cover all the utilities for the building.
For the building.
What effect is this Senate Bill 1 gonna have on this budget?
It's not gonna have much on this particular budget. Where we get to serious issues is what are we gonna do in 3 years? When all of the money disappears and they severely limit and take away all of our property tax.
I think that's still to be determined. I, from what I gathered in the meetings I've sat in, is that there's some circuit breaker items that may come into effect on certain property values and kind of a restructuring of all the tax formulas.
Really what I got when I was downstate in that class, even meeting with some of the state representatives, a lot of what I got out of it is, we don't know. They know they messed up. They were in kind of a hurry to get
Something done.
that win through, and they really didn't have a plan for what they really realized what that property tax went to, and they just gave everybody a cut, and now they don't know what they're gonna do. They know they're gonna fix something, but they don't know how they're gonna do it. That's kind of what we got out of it.
Perfect.
Rough estimate when we threw the numbers at DLGF, plugged the numbers in, was that we were looking at approximately like a $55,000 hit this year for the budget. So, and I didn't provide general budget for the territory, but on the general of it, we'd be able to put 10,000 under the supplies for fire and EMS, and then another 10,000 under service and charges for fire and EMS services. And then we put 30,000 under capital outlays for emergency equipment. Some of that was that we did it last year also because we were getting the lit monies and we could spend them out of the general fund that way. But going into 2026, we will not be receiving lit monies.
So the increase in the personal services from 610 to 834, why so much?
You're adding one extra person.
Okay. And the supplies from 50 to 61,000, a lot of that comes in your fuel. And a little bit in support equipment
Mhm.
and services and charges. The increase I see is insurance, which I know we've got, because we shopped insurance a couple of years ago and we've got a really good rate on it, but it's still expensive.
Well, and then going full-time, it
Change things too.
changes
Right,
things, because
right.
you have workman's comp.
The info technology with the reporting software, that's more or less a kind of a one-time thing or
That's an annual.
annual, okay. So we can expect that going forward?
Mhm.
Okay.
What system are you guys using to do that on?
Fire programs. It's kind of a one-stop, we can track bills, scheduling, we can track the actual run.
Any other questions?
No.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Apparatus replacement, you wanna touch on that?
Yeah, so in the packet towards the back, I threw in some of the major repairs that we've had to do on some of these trucks this year. The first one should be tanker 51. We've had a lot, it doesn't show it on here, but it has, I think, been out of service almost 3 full months this year. Because we've had issues with the dump chutes in the back, and it being a tanker, we can't just use it to pump, we have to actually use it to dump water. So the actuators, seem like, once one broke, they all broke. So we had to have all those replaced. What else we had? We had discharges were leaking, I haven't gotten the bill yet, but we had to have the exhaust replaced on it, because we found a giant hole in it. We just got it back today from having new tires put on it. Engine 51, we had to replace some valves on it. A lot of it was due to, we just don't use it. And then tanker 51, basically it was just a little module that blew out, a relay. We had to have the truck towed because it broke in the middle of a fire scene. We had some air leaks we had to have replaced. Mainly some of these trucks, those 3 trucks are aging and are starting to cost us a lot of money for upkeep.
Do you know the year on these vehicles?
Not right off the top of my head, I'd have to look it up, but I think
Tanker 51 is 2006.
that sounds right, yeah, 2006, one's a,
Maybe 2001,
51 is a 2001.
Yep.
2006.
151 should be a 13.
sounds right, yeah.
2013.
Ish, if not.
Yeah, it should be 13.
Okay.
2012 international.
Sorry, George Schaefer.
Well, the township owns the 2 tankers. We can bring that up at a township meeting as far as if we want to replace it or what the township wants to do.
I mean, ultimately going forward, I think, especially now that we're not sitting as a volunteer department, we really, I think, should discuss at some point slimming down the fleet. We don't need 2 engines and 2 tankers. We might consider getting rid of the engine and the tankers, condensing it down to 1 vehicle. Cuts down on maintenance and like I said, we just.
Like a pumper tanker
a pump tanker
combination.
That we can,
The town owns engine 51, that's a 2001. It's the town's thought on replacing that vehicle.
We would have to take that to a town meeting. I'm the only one here that can represent the actual town council, so that's not a discussion for this meeting.
Would that be something that you would take to the town and see if in the near future they would be
I will
wanting
not.
to replace it?
Township or the fire chief would be the best one to take that to the town. This meeting is recorded, correct?
Yes.
So the others can see it through that, if you'd like to send them emails first. I assume you have, maybe not, April and Dean. I can give you their emails if you
yeah,
don't
you might
have
have
them.
to send me their emails. I'm not 100% sure I have them, but I'm pretty sure I have April's, but.
Just a few questions on that, just so that way, once they do see that, if engine 51, or tanker 51, I'm sorry, was sold, where would those monies go after it is sold?
Back to the township. Township owns it. Engine 51.
Yeah,
Engine 50, I think that's what you meant to say. Engine 51 belongs to the town.
yes,
And
sorry.
it's the town's responsibility to
2001.
replace. So if they sold it, they would retain the money. And then they can use that towards the purchase of a replacement for that piece.
Okay.
The town brought the fire engine into the territory and is responsible for the replacement of it. The township brought,
I thought the vehicle, or what was it, that's okay, I can look into it later.
the town
The
brought,
equipment replacement fund is
Is
what
for-
brought it back to the territory.
no.
Okay.
The equipment replacement fund is for fire gear, SCBA's, loose equipment that goes with the vehicle. Because a territory cannot take out a loan to purchase a fire truck, because if the territory disbands and there's monies due on that fire truck, who pays that? See what I'm saying? That's why it's not done that way.
Yeah, I can give you their emails, and then the best way to do that is you can give them a link to see what was discussed this evening, and then to present it to the board, not just myself, because that would be a board decision.
Would it be a thought to sell or replace the 2 tankers, tanker 51 and 151, with a pumper tanker, and the township purchase that? Would that be a thing?
I mean, that could be a thing.
And what would that look like?
To me, what I think would be the best would be to slim those 2 tankers down to 1 and get rid of the engine also and get 1 larger pumper tanker that we could also use an engine if the other one's down for repairs,
So take 3 pieces,
condense it to 1.
condense it to 1 pumper tanker.
What does that do for as far as like gallonage?
It would decrease it a little bit. We have to shop around. There are some larger tankers, but then we're getting into,
Does that do anything then? Because I know one thing when we got the larger trucks before, it helped out with home insurance rates just because of,
it
larger
can
gallonage.
affect the ISO rating, but anymore insurance companies are really, some use it ISO, some don't. It's,
Okay.
we could check into some of that, but
Having staffing here at the
that
station
helps quite,
helped
so that kind of
tremendously.
offsets.
More than,
Right now, you The squad and the two tankers, 4,500, if you go with a 3,000 gallon tanker, the squad, 4,000 gallons.
Okay, well, that's definitely something to
No,
consider.
and there are, I was shopping around, there was like 4,000 gallon tankers, but
Yeah, that's-
you're starting to get
Just
into,
a rough option.
yeah, you're getting into big big trucks.
Big issues.
Big-
You're getting an 80,000 pound vehicle, huh?
Yeah. You gotta look on bridges,
Mhm.
roadways.
No, that's definitely,
1,000 gallon tanker we had before at DVW, right at 50,000.
Ours, ours up at center 62.
But for
okay, well, that's some food for thought that we can work on moving forward. Do you want to talk about anything else, Andy, that's in your,
I was just gonna kind of do a real quick, go over where everything's in this packet real quick. I know we did it last year, I had a fancy PowerPoint, but I didn't get it in this year. Just kind of a department overview so far to 2025. We hired 6 full-time members, so we are currently at a full roster. We have 6 full-time paid firefighters. The 6th starts, I think, officially next week. We currently have 5 full-time or part-time members, and that's actually changing. We hired 2 or 3 more this week, so that's going up, and we have 7 volunteers. In the last year, we have replaced the entire department's turnout gear. All of it was expired. It says 12 sets on here, but since I printed this up, we added another 3 or 4 sets. So that was pretty healthy. We had to replace all the boots, all the helmets, all the turnout gear. All of it was expired or about ready to expire. Some capital improvements that we are working on. There are our radios. I'm not a technical geek, so I don't know how to explain it. But essentially, in about another year or so, some of these radios are gonna go obsolete. It's about 10 of them. So we have out for 10 radios for next year. That so far the estimate's about 98,000. That's just the first estimate. There was some damage done to the outside wall in the last giant rainstorm we had. So some of that's gonna need to be repaired. And so far, we haven't got the estimate back on that. The heating is, to my knowledge, the heating is like original to the station.
Oh, yeah, it's
And is in some disrepair and is needing, we do have, we're waiting on some quotes to come back on that. Some bay fans to help with the heating and cooling out there. Again, we're waiting on quotes. We're gonna have to start replacing some SCBA bottles coming up. We did talk about the apparatus. Locution, which is a station alerting system. Right now, we're still relying on the old pagers to wake people up at night. Those are starting to get less reliable, so we've got the system mapped out. We're just waiting on a quote to add locution to the station. The next page is just the average incident and response times. I'm not gonna get into it too deep. You can look at the very end. Our average response time, so that's from the time we receive the call till we're on scene, is 7 minutes, 5 seconds. In the past, we were fully volunteer. We were looking at 8 minutes to get the truck out the door. So we've increased, the average number of people on the truck is 2.78. So that's kind of where we're pushing in the future to get to that 3. I think 3 is kind of that magical number. Every other fire apparatus in the county runs with 3. You might have to go to the 3rd page there. And then there's just a summary by the week. The weekends were the busiest. By the month, we had an incredibly busy first half of the year. Trailed off, but it's starting to pick back up a little bit. And then you can see the truck repairs. The training report for the year so far, we are at 570 hours total training for everybody, and that's actually as of July, so now we're 700. We haven't gotten all of August in yet. You can see some of the topics we've hit hard this year. We've had 2 members go through the EMT course. We've had 1 completed and is waiting to test. The other is completed it all. He is state certified this time. You just finished that up. I didn't put in here, but I just finished the week-long executive training course for chiefs down in Indy. We've been hitting training pretty hard that year. This is one of the big goals we had for the year, was to increase training hours, and we're
So we have all the full-time Ts now?
all but one.
Okay.
Well, two technically, but the one completed the class, he
Right.
just hasn't tested out yet. And then the last set of pages is the strategic planning for the fire department. You wanna look at that, the 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals. Most of the 1 year goals are already taken care of. We've met most of those. Some of the stuff for 3 is kind of just upgrading the station, expanding it a little bit. The station was never meant to have people living in it, so it's a little tight and just needs some things. Obviously replacing the tanker. The 5 year goal is upgrading EMS service, whether that means bringing the EMS back or bringing our personnel up to advanced EMT or higher. Not quite sure how that looks, but we definitely like to bring the service up. I'd like to see a dedicated training facility. There's not really anything down on this side of the county. There's really no place for anybody to go and train down here. And that is a major problem. And then by the time we get to the 5 year mark, we're definitely gonna have to start talking about replacing the brush truck.
What year is that?
What is,
I couldn't help you on that one.
What good are you?
Or 2031 instead of 2026.
Did you say 2007?
Say it again.
2025,
2030.
unless this is going off of 2026, yeah.
So it'd be that
2007.
brush truck.
2007.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Ford
Right there.
F-150.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's a 2007,
Mhm.
so it'd be 22 years old, 22 years old when it gets replaced. And that's a township. Good job. A lot of good information, thank you. Some of these goals that you have, like repairing the building, heating, bay fans, come out as a township, so that can be discussed at the township meeting. The apparatus is kind of a mixed bag, and we'll touch on that, and we'll work through that. It seems like total number of responses from this year to years prior is gradually creeping up a little bit.
yeah, I think last year we did like total 350.
Yeah, and it
We're right
looks,
now, we're sitting at just over 300.
it looks like if everything holds true, you're gonna meet that goal and then some. Okay, any questions? Questions?
I can tell you the totals for,
You wanna touch on that?
well, so, let me get right stick. Okay, so at the end, well, currently, right now, the, fire territory has $1,088,954.79. The equipment replacement fund has $194,556.32. And
What was
then
the second one? Again, sorry.
$194,556.32.
Thank you.
And the $1 million came from,
So the 1 million is actually sitting in the fire protection, in the fire territory. That is how they told me to,
That was from the bond
Deposit it,
issue
and that
that the
is-
township got to help augment emergency services.
right, but it was put into territory because the territory also paid, we use the town's tax
Right.
base to secure that
To
bond.
secure that bond, but the township is responsible for repaying that bond.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the repayment for that, it's kind of like setting in a savings account, and the repayment for that will come from township funds and not from the town or the.
Well, it technically comes from everyone. I
Right.
mean, it's not,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the whole,
The township's responsible to repay
but the
that.
town, I mean, in anything, the township is the governing unit. So they're the
Correct.
ones that are always gonna be paying back the bonds or any of the loans. So even when we talk about repaying vehicles, I mean, now that we are a territory, we would still take a loan if we purchased a vehicle because we're using the town's tax base. It's just that only either the township would have to take it or the town, but since we're the governing unit, we will take that loan.
Right. the
So, if the
township will
town-
take
If the town decided tomorrow to just say, the territory, if we just disbanded, then the township gets stuck with that debt.
Mhm.
Not that that's happening, but
Right.
just, that's how they do that. But then we would also lose their assessed values on that, so repaying it.
Would be different.
Mhm.
So even though the balances in the territory funds look fat, and they will for 3 years,
Mhm.
they're gonna be dwindling because that is our safety net to operate
That
the
is
territory. Does that make sense?
And that came from the increased levy, correct?
That is
I mean,
true.
to fund it, yeah.
That came
Yeah.
from, that came from a bond issue that the township
Yeah.
orchestrated. And so they got the $1 million that's sitting in the fire territory fund. And it'll be paid back off taxes for 3 years. So in a sense, it adds $333,000 to the territory funds that are available to meet expenses. So we can't run out and spend it because once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
You know, it's the whole services it is.
So our, and I can share this with you later. Our tax levy for the territory, which we will be taking the maximum levy, we do not want to leave any of that on the table for the state to take back. We will receive $683,147. The property tax impact that we will be affected by is $69,453. Lori, I'll give these to you so you don't have to write them all down. And then we have some miscellaneous income of $31,913. So we will receive in tax dollars next year, if everyone pays taxes, $645,607. So that's where you'll see when, I think, what was your budget, 971,000?
Yeah.
That's where that bond comes into play, that
Make the
pays for that
shortcoming.
shortfall.
What is the meeting being recorded on? I can just look there
Oh, I'm sorry.
for the numbers later. What are we,
Oh, I'm sorry.
is it a
We're at
YouTube or where,
28.
no, where are we recording at?
28 minutes. Oh,
No.
it's, if you go on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
Facebook, the link is there.
On the township?
Yeah.
Okay. Cause I can just put the numbers up there.
So we're gonna be $326,000 short.
Mhm.
Which allows this budget to work. Moving forward, I don't know.
Well, it's the 3-year where you have to start getting nervous
Right.
because this is your 3-year fix. The bond was your 3-year fix.
Mhm. Okay, anything else? Questions, comments, concerns?
How many years do we have left on the fire truck bond? Is it 1 or 2?
Glad you asked, I just wrote that down. So, currently, our outstanding debt is $135,406. Our last payment will be December 31st of '26. So we have 3 more payments.
So effectively, SB one has already hit us and the bond is offsetting that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's why I think it's imperative that we be looking for truck replacement, because if you expire that bond, taxes go down and you try to file another
No,
one.
Right.
you're right.
I mean, we're not gonna be happy if you can maintain it and keep it going on.
Right, no, I agree 100%. That's why we're having this discussion in preparation for next year's. I mean, a year from now will be, if you order a fire truck today, it's 3 years, so. These vehicles are, what, 2007, 2001, 2007, 2013, they're not gonna get, they'll be 3 years older. I'm not saying you gotta replace a 20-year-old truck, but when you're maintaining equipment and your needs are changing, it makes sense.
One thing to note too, and it's gonna affect more of the township side, is we have to have a capital improvement plan together this year. The state has come in and told us that we are not allowed to have any more little nest egg funds. So we have to have a plan, a 3-year plan of what we are doing with all of our monies. So if they are not appropriated into a budget, they can get 30% of what's left on the table. So it's kind of key in the next 3 years. I mean, because we can always be adding to it. We can put the trucks to it. They cannot touch our fire territory funds, according to what Steve Dalton has told us right now, is that they will not touch our territory funds, which is fine. Because, I mean, even though we have the $1 million in there, we still want to show that we have a plan for it over that 3 years. It's just more important on our general side that we're showing that we're doing, like things to the structure, we're replacing, and we can even throw in apparatus to be that capital. They're just looking at the whole fund for the township.
How many years do we have on the building bond?
So the building bond will expire in 2038. So right now, we still owe $1,545,000.
12 or 13 years, yeah.
Oh, that's a 15-year bond.
No.
20.
20?
But it was a real low interest rate.
That was a 15.
Yeah, the interest rate on that was
Yeah.
2% or something or less. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy low.
But then the recent bond we took for the almost 1.2 million, that will be paid off in 5 years. Yes.
So if you want to buy it, so let's say the Fed lowers interest rates this fall and you went to buy a truck, can you lock in can you pay for the truck at the interest rates of this fall as opposed to getting hosed maybe 3 years from now at the interest rates?
The State Board of Council let you do that. We ran into that problem with this squad, because we paid a bunch of money down on that squad and we never saw it for another almost 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technically,
Yeah,
the
they were wondering
state
about
board of accounts frowns, like, that bond was established, and we were paying on that truck almost 2
Almost 2
years
years.
and never even had possession of it.
Never
And when they
paid
came-
for it.
When they came in and did the audit and saw the actual date that we received it, they were like, why are you paying on something you didn't own? And I'm like, prior me, not me. So,
The state does have some good resources to borrow money for equipment and so on. If you do a little shopping, they're not always competitive. Anything else? Anything else? Have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 6:35.
When it's open for the house mortgage, you can lock in your rate. Right. It'd be nice to be